Namaskar, friends. This is Dr. Sumit Nandan. Today, we are going to have an introductory lecture on two classical texts. One is Nāṭyaśāstra and the other one is Abhinaya Darpana. We have titled the topic as an introduction to Nāṭyaśāstra and Abhinaya Darpana, philosophical and aesthetic perspectives. Friends, as we embark upon this introductory lecture on the Nāṭyaśāstra and Abhinaya Darpana, I'm reminded of the timeless injunction of Dayananda Saraswati, who exhorted us to go back to the Vedas. That is to seek truth at its source beyond the distractions of superficial knowledge. In a comparable spirit, the study of the Nāṭyaśāstra and Abhinaya Darpana may be regarded as a return to the Pancham Ved, the fifth Ved of aesthetics, where the human experience of rasa and dhvani is codified with precision and profundity. In an age inundated with information, the pearls of genuine wisdom often remain obscured. We possess far more knowledge than ever before, yet our understanding of its deeper significance is frequently diminished. It is precisely in such moments of epistemic saturation that the Nāṭyaśāstra and Abhinaya Darpana assert their enduring relevance. These seminal texts, with their meticulously structured exposition of dramatic theory, Abhinaya and rasa, continue to illuminate pathways of insight, serving as beacons of aesthetic, ethical, and spiritual understanding across generations. The Nāṭyaśāstra, together with its luminous companion, the Abhinaya Darpana, offers us something far more profound than a manual on performance. It offers a vision of art as a mode of being, a discipline of learning, and even a pathway to inner healing. These foundational treatises embody a sublime synthesis of humanity's timeless quest for Satya, Shiva, and Sundar, that is, truth, goodness, and beauty. In their pages, the aesthetic, the ethical, and the spiritual are not separate domains, but interwoven strands of one continuous pursuit of self-knowledge and harmony. They do not merely instruct us in the mechanics of theatre and dance. They unfold an entire perennial wisdom, where aesthetic experience becomes the very bridge between sensory delight and ethical awareness, between performance and transcendence. Through them, we learn to navigate life itself as a form of art, to see our emotions as gestures, our actions as abhinaya, and our existence as a participation in the great cosmic performance, the Leela of creation. In this vision, theatre and performance cease to be mere representations. They become revelations. They are the vehicles through which we discern the eternal truths that underlie human existence. By returning to these texts, we are not merely studying ancient theories of art, we are reawakening a civilizational memory, one in which art mirrors society even as it elevates it, and where creativity itself becomes a bridge to higher knowledge and inner freedom. For students and scholars alike, these texts offer far more than intellectual stimulation or academic depth. They open pathways to creative expression, self-cultivation, and even professional mastery in the performing arts. The deeper we engage with them, the clearer it becomes that they are not relics of the past, but living philosophies, vibrant, dynamic frameworks that continue to speak to our contemporary condition. They do not simply instruct, they illumine. They invite us to see art not as ornament, but as ontology. Not as a performance alone, but as participation in life's unfolding rhythm. In their seamless fusion of art, ethics, and aesthetics, the Nāṭyaśāstra and the Abhinaya Darpana reveal a single, luminous vision of what it means to be human, to feel deeply, act beautifully, and live meaningfully. So in this lecture, let us journey together through these timeless works to discover how they weave art, morality, and beauty into one integrated vision. A vision that still holds the power to guide, inspire, and restore harmony in the complex, fragmented world we inhabit today. The Nāṭyaśāstra, often revered as a text par excellence, occupies an unparalleled position in the intellectual and aesthetic heritage of India. At once a manual of dramaturgy and a philosophical treatise, it transcends the boundaries of performance theory to articulate a profound vision of existence through art. Traditionally attributed to the sage Bharat, this Shastra integrates ontology, epistemology, and aesthetics into a unified framework, wherein performance becomes both a reflection and realization of cosmic order. Unfolding within a metaphysical framework, the Nāṭyaśāstra conceives Natya not merely as a human invention, but as a divine manifestation of the cosmic process itself. According to its mythic prelude, the art of drama, Natya Ved, was revealed by Brahma as the Pancham Ved, the fifth Ved, synthesizing elements of the four canonical Vedas to make sacred knowledge accessible to all, irrespective of birth and vocation. This symbolic revelation situates Natya within the very ontology of creation. Performance becomes a reenactment of the universe's rhythmic unfolding, where the stage, Rang, mirrors the cosmos. The actor embodies the human condition, and the aesthetic experience, Rasanubhav, reflects the universal striving toward unity and transcendence. In this vision, art is not a mere representation, but a revelatory process, a mode of cosmic participation through which both performer and spectator are elevated from the empirical to the transcendental plane. The Nāṭyaśāstra thus delineates the intricate relations between performer and spectator, emotion and cognition, ritual and creativity, revealing art as the medium through which the human spirit attains both knowledge, jnana, and liberation, moksha. Far from being an ancient relic, the Nāṭyaśāstra remains a living philosophical document whose insights resonate powerfully in the contemporary world. At a time when digital media fragments spectatorship and artificial intelligence simulates creativity, Bharat's reflections on rasa, bhava, and sattva acquire renewed relevance. They remind us that performance at its highest is a sacred and transformative act, a means of mirroring the universe and awakening consciousness to its deepest, most luminous potential. Although the Nāṭyaśāstra is traditionally ascribed to Bharat Muni, its authorship is best understood in symbolic rather than historical terms. In the Indian hermeneutic tradition, Shastra is often regarded as Apaurushya, impersonal, timeless, and divinely revealed, emerging not from individual genius, but from Rishi Pratyaksh, the intuitive insight of seers who serve as mediums of revelation. The name Bharat itself is emblematic, derived from bhava, rag, and tal. It signifies the synthesis of emotion, melody, and rhythm, the very essence of performance. Thus, Bharat Muni functions not as an author in the modern sense, but as a mythic conduit through whom aesthetic wisdom was articulated. In this light, the Nāṭyaśāstra may be seen as a manifestation of collective spiritual intuition, a civilizational text wherein art becomes revelation and knowledge assumes a cosmic rather than personal authorship. The Nāṭyaśāstra stands unparalleled in the global history of performing arts. While seminal Western texts such as Aristotle's Poetics, Longinus's On the Sublime, and Plotinus's Enneads are foundational to the study of aesthetics, they do not encompass the same encyclopedic and sacred stature as the Nāṭyaśāstra. Aristotle's Poetics, for instance, offers a structural analysis of dramatic elements, focusing on plot, character, and catharsis. Longinus's treatise delves into the concept of sublimity in literature, emphasizing the emotional impact of elevated language. Plotinus, in his Enneads, explores the metaphysical dimensions of beauty and the soul's ascent towards the One. In contrast, the Nāṭyaśāstra integrates dramaturgy, philosophy, ethics, and spiritual into a unified framework, presenting the pursuit of art as a form of yoga. Here, yoga is understood in the classical sense, a disciplined path of self-cultivation and integration, where the practice of theatre, music, or dance becomes a medium for harmonizing mind, emotion, and consciousness. Every gesture, expression, and performance is treated as a focused exercise in awareness, intention, and creative discipline. In this framework, mastery of art is inseparable from mastery of self. To perfect the external form is simultaneously to refine the inner life. Through this lens, the performing arts are not mere entertainment or technique. They are a path to personal and ethical growth, a means to attune one's perception to universal order, and a lifelong discipline that cultivates focus, insight, and a spiritual sensibility. Art as yoga, therefore, is the disciplined pursuit of beauty, harmony, and understanding, a continuous exercise in uniting the individual with the deeper rhythms of life. It is precisely this expansive vision where aesthetics, ethics, and disciplined practice converge that allows the Nāṭyaśāstra to frame art as a transformative, lifelong pursuit. Now, let's try to understand how, through these texts, art is understood as a form of yoga. That is, the quest for beauty is parallelly a quest for truth as well as good, and it is similar to yogic way of life. Hence, let's study art as yoga. The Nāṭyaśāstra and Abhinaya Darpana present a coherent model of art as yoga, a practice in which rigorous discipline, mindful engagement, and a spiritual aspiration converge, transforming performance into a path of personal and communal elevation. The Abhinaya Darpan complements the vision of the Nāṭyaśāstra by detailing the practical mechanics of a performance. Gestures, mudra, postures, angik abhinay, and subtle expressions, satvik abhinay. Nandikeshwar emphasizes that the external execution of these forms must be grounded in inner discipline, antah pran, highlighting the unity of internal awareness and external expression. Precision, mindfulness, and conscious control over body, speech, and mind are not merely technical requirements, but integral to the spiritual dimension of performance. Qualities such as steadiness, sthiratva, alertness, java, and clarity, prabhav, echo classical yogic principles, illustrating how the disciplined practice of art cultivates presence, ethical sensibility, and self-mastery. The continuity between the two texts lies in their shared view of performance as a holistic practice. While the Nāṭyaśāstra provides the philosophical scaffolding linking art to ethical and spiritual life, the Abhinaya Darpan translates these principles into disciplined, actionable forms. A contrast emerges in emphasis. The Nāṭyaśāstra offers a conceptual vision of art as a path of self-realization, whereas the Abhinaya Darpan codifies techniques that allow this vision to be embodied and transmitted. In this integrated framework, art is a lifelong practice of yoga. The performer cultivates awareness, intention, and skill, harmonizing internal states with external expression, while the audience engages with the performance at a deeper level of consciousness. Through disciplined practice, aesthetic engagement becomes a means to refine perception, ethical understanding, and contemplative insight. To understand Nāṭyaśāstra and Abhinaya Darpan, we need to also consider Abhinav Gupta's position. So let's know his vision. Abhinav Gupta, the eminent Kashmiri philosopher and aesthete, occupies a pivotal place in the history of Indian aesthetics. His Abhinav Bharati, a detailed commentary on the Nāṭyaśāstra, predates and profoundly informs later treatises such as the Abhinaya Darpan, providing the philosophical and ethical framework for the practice of expressive arts. Unlike texts that focus solely on technique or dramaturgy, Abhinav Gupta presents performance as a disciplined, integrative pursuit, a form of yoga, where the cultivation of body, mind, and consciousness converges with artistic mastery. In his commentary, Abhinav Gupta emphasizes that effective performance arises from inner discipline and awareness, while gestures, postures, and expressions are essential. Their power emerges from the performer's conscious engagement and refined attention. Performance becomes a meditative, self-cultivating practice. The actor's deliberate focus, emotional attunement, and mental presence harmonize to elevate the enactment beyond mere technique. This conception situates art within a spiritual and ethical paradigm, where the practice of performance is inseparable from the cultivation of character, discipline, and self-awareness. The Abhinav Bharati thereby lays the conceptual groundwork for the Abhinaya Darpan, where Abhinaya Darpan codifies the technical aspects of expressive art. It draws implicitly on the philosophical principles articulated by Abhinav Gupta. Discipline, attentiveness, and conscious embodiment of emotion, transforming technical skill into a pathway for holistic self-cultivation. In this framework, performing arts become more than craft. They are a lifelong practice of art as yoga, integrating aesthetic, ethical, and spiritual dimensions. By situating performance within this broader philosophical vision, Abhinav Gupta elevates theatre, dance, and music from mere external display to a sacred, disciplined path. His insights continue to shape Indian classical performing arts, underscoring the potential of art to cultivate presence, ethical sensibility, and refined consciousness, and providing a firm foundation for subsequent practical treatises like the Abhinaya Darpan. Thank you.